And good morning. Welcome to Hot Seat. I had them here in February, and we got you back today. The minority leaders of the state legislature, Senator Floyd, Representative Munson. Good to have you both here.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right. You just lived through this another session. Your thoughts, Senator, about what didn't get done in terms of what you thought ought to have gotten done?
Well, it was chaotic, there's no question. Part of the confusion or the additional challenge that we had was leadership decided that we were going to do the budget in two parts. We were going to have one part that was education only, and then the other part was going to be everything else that needed to be appropriated. I thought that was a good idea for about 2 minutes. And then it became obvious that it wasn't going to work because everyone was focused on education and the other areas that needed to be looked at were not being looked at. And you're not talking about the entire chamber of the House or the Senate. You're talking about 6 to 8 people that go into a room and come up with the budget. And this goes on for 4 months. The budget landed. My caucus saw the budget 3 days before the end of session. 3 days. That is not open and transparent government.
Leader Munson?
Yeah, you know, when we were here in February, I know we talked a lot about education being a priority and that it would be likely that the Republican leaders would prioritize some type of private school voucher program, and that's exactly what they did. You know, like Leader Floyd said, right at the beginning of session, out the gate, you had different plans coming from each chamber, from those chamber leaders. They were not bipartisan, they were led by one party, and the focus really was on how do we get taxpayer dollars into private schools. We know where we are today now with there was a Board of Equalization meeting that said it would cost the state of Oklahoma $133 million to pay for this first round of vouchers. Oklahoma has its first religious charter school where public taxpayer dollars will go. And so it was a very long, chaotic session. I think you could talk to leaders on both sides of the aisle who would say it was a really frustrating time because everything was hinging on, are we going to send public dollars to private schools? The answer obviously ended up being yes, which is really unfortunate because at a time where we should be doing everything we can to ensure that our teachers stay in our classrooms, that we can recruit teachers to come to our classrooms and teach in our public schools across the state, whether you're in urban Oklahoma or rural Oklahoma, that was not the priority. The priority was how do we get these special interest groups what they want and how do we get those dollars to private schools. So very frustrating session, and I surely hope people are paying attention and that when we come back in February, we will reprioritize and put the people of Oklahoma first.
You're still in a special session.
We are in special session.
Anything you want to do during that?
Finish. Yeah. get the people's work done.
Yes.
We are going to try to get back in a special session sometime next month. We still have a lot of overrides, veto overrides that we need to look at. Some very important information, some very important areas that need to be resolved. And the tribal compacts are 2 of the overrides that we are trying to get done. In the legislature, the governor vetoed these compacts. These compacts are very good for the state. They're very good for the tribes. It's something that's worked for decades, and there is just absolutely no reason to not go forward with them. It's going to result in millions of dollars being lost by the state, not the tribal nations, but the state's going to lose millions of dollars. It makes absolutely no sense. So I'm hopeful we'll get back in. I'm hopeful we'll be able to override those vetoes and get that money back to the state.
Leader Floyd, Leader Munson, thanks for being on Hot Seat.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching Hot Seat. See this again at news9.com/yourvotecounts. See the whole interview there. And follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter @MitchellTalks.